What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company with your host, Nicole Scantlebury.
Thanks for joining me this month. Here are the news headlines.
What's news?
Bus transport goes green. BLPC Clean Energy Bridge in St. Lucie. Hurricane preparedness customer tip. Welcome to the August edition of What's New Radio. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we continue to be focused on health and safety at work, and we encourage you to visit our online customer service portal at blpc.com.bb for all your customer needs concerning our service. You can view and check your bill balance, see your payment history, and query a bill. There are a variety of ways to pay your bill electronically, and Light and Power, in partnership with SurePay Online, has started a pilot project to accept electricity bill payments by credit card. Residential customers can now pay a bill up to $500 per month using their credit card. This trial ends on September 30th. Our customer service team is also ready to serve you. Call 626-4300 with a customer query, or you can call our hotline at 626-9000 for emergency assistance.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
In January this year, Light and Power broke ground on a new project, the Clean Energy Bridge at our solar PV and battery storage site in Trent, St. Lucie. Dave Skeete is the engineer and project manager who leads a BLPC technical team which also includes legal, commercial, finance, HR, and corporate communication members. I asked Dave to tell us about the project, and he begins by explaining why we need a clean energy bridge.
So the need to build this plant is part of what we call the 100-100 vision, which would be 100% renewables, 100% electrification by the year 2030. To get to that point, the company has to transition from the status quo, that is energy production from mostly fossil fuels, and this can't happen overnight. So currently we have a mix of generation plants, some of which have exceeded their lifespan. This is certainly the case with the steam units, which were commissioned in 1976, some 44 years ago. So to facilitate this transition, and in order to maintain the levels of service Barbados has become accustomed to, it's important that we replace these aging units. So the efficiency and reliability of these units, as expected, has declined with age, and the Clean Energy Bridge is one of the stopgaps required to get us on the path to the 100-100 vision, hence the use of the term bridge. What is also important to note is that because these units will be more efficient than the ones they're replacing, we expect immediate fuel savings, which will be passed to the customer. The plant is modular plant, so there are 4 blocks, which would be the housings and structures containing the engines and generators. And then you have the facilities, which would be admin building, workshop, warehouse. Then you have a fuel tank area, which will have 3 fuel tanks. The foundation works are substantially completed, and right now they're working on the housing structures for the buildings where the generators will go. Also, we advance a lot on the facilities. The admin building is 70% completed, and the other facilities are in the workshop and warehouse. Additionally, there would have been lots of engineering work that would have gone into the project so far, both outside of Barbados and here in Barbados, as well as work on the substation, ensuring that the plant can be connected into the grid.
Dave Skeete, project manager for Light and Power's Clean Energy Bridge. Dave also told me each of the 3 engines weigh 83 tons. So I asked him how was he planning to move them from Bridgetown Port to St. Lucie.
We looked at a number of possibilities, taking them across the highways, but of course the highways have bridges. We cross the bridges whenever we drive down the highway, and we are not even aware that we're driving over bridges. But yes, there's 7 bridges between Warrens and St. Lucie, and they can't carry that type of weight. So we would have had to do things like reinforce the bridges and so on, which would have meant a lot of traffic disruptions, etc. So in the end, we looked at taking them along the coast to Arawak cement plant up north, which is fairly close to the construction site, and traversing through Arawak and getting onto Bourbon's Highway up to the plant.
And to update you, work has begun on the construction of a temporary access road to facilitate the transportation of the heavy engines across the Arawak cement land to the Clean Energy Bridge site at Trent, St. Lucie. It's expected that the roadworks will last for about 3 weeks. Following that, the engines will be moved to the site to complete the project. Dave Skeete and other project colleagues have been meeting with communities around the area to raise awareness of the construction work and the importance of the clean energy bridge to our energy future.
What's new customer tip?
Hello, I'm Kathy Ann Aline, Human Resources Associate. Be prepared this hurricane season. Here are a few simple steps to keep you and your family safe. Make a family emergency plan and share it amongst family members, including those who may not live with you. Be informed. Listen to storm updates from the Department of Emergency Management and have some basic emergency supplies, including drinking water and food for at least 3 days, a battery-powered radio and flashlight and extra batteries, a first aid kit, sanitizer, mask, and personal toiletries. And remember to turn off all utilities if you have to leave your home. From all of us in the Human Resources Department at Light and Power, safety first, safety always.
Each month, we post longer interviews of interest on our website, blpc.com.bb. Look for What's New Extra Time. This month, you can listen to an interview I recorded with Light and Power System Engineer Antonio Seeley about the exciting future for the electrification of transport in all sectors. Here is an extract from the interview. I asked Antonio, how much power will the 33 new electric buses consume, and where are the charging stations?
That's a very good question, Nicole. So when you look at the electric bus, based on our estimates, we're looking at around 288 kilowatt hours per day for a bus. If you look at the average passenger electric car, is around 6 to 8 kilowatt hours a day in terms of electricity consumption. So if you compare the monthly consumption of the average electric car, it will be equivalent to the average home in Barbados on a monthly basis. If you compare the bus, it will be slightly more than the monthly usage of a home consumed in 1 day. As it relates to the chargers for the buses, they will be held at the depots. So Mangrove, Weymouth, and Spikestown depots, those are where the chargers for the buses will be at this point in time.
Okay, now with so many buses drawing that much power, there will be a load increase. What will be the impact on the grid?
The buses, as you indicated, will draw a large power, and in some instances it can be more than other industrial loads. The power draw is really dependent on how much buses are charged simultaneously. So really and truly, that is something that you have the opportunity to manage. If it is that 6 buses charging at a time has a particular load and you have a long enough dwell time or downtime, you may not have to charge all 6 of those buses at the same time. So yes, we forecast that it will have a significant load increase, but when we look at the downtime, the dwell time, there's a very big opportunity to stagger some of the charging. So you can charge some, let's say from 11 to 2, and then charge another set of buses after that period. And the transport board and the team would have looked at technology to assist with that process. So as part of the project, they're looking at an electronic load management system in which the buses, you will plug them in as soon as you get back in, and the system would take control and stagger those charging to optimally charge them to avoid overloading the power supply.
Drilling a little deeper now, Antonio. So right now we have 10 megawatts PV solar at Trent and an expected 33 megawatts from the Clean Energy Bridge project. So how exactly will Light and Power manage this extra demand? Does this mean that our green electric buses will also be drawing on diesel power?
So this is a question that a lot of people often ask. The first part I would say is that yes, the power is significant, but it is not reached a level that we can't handle as yet. That's the first part. The second part to the question as it relates to will these green electric buses be drawing on diesel power, the answer is yes. But I would add a caveat to that. So the efficiency of our generating engines versus the efficiency of an internal combustion engine in a car is like chalk and cheese. So our engines are way more efficient in terms of energy to energy conversion. So even though it's using diesel to power the vehicles, it will be using less overall. Also, the efficiency of fossil fuel powered cars versus electric cars as it relates to energy conversion, again, the electric car comes out significantly more efficient efficient. So you also get additional savings in energy and efficiency from that perspective. The big and most exciting part though is the decarbonization of the grid. So if you look at what Light and Power has planned and what the country of Barbados has planned, the trajectory of Barbados's grid is that the carbon intensity is going to decrease significantly over time. So what electric vehicles allow is for maximizing and optimizing that transition. So you are decarbonizing the energy market, but also the transportation sector simultaneously, because the transportation sector is now using that cleaner energy from the grid.
Let's now turn to the customer and commuter experience. What are the benefits of these new buses for them?
So in addition to the environmental benefits, these buses will now have air conditioning, USB charging ports, there'll be Wi-Fi added at some time, wheelchair access ramps, the buses have kneeling capability. So because of the nature of the project and the opportunities that arise from the reduced operational costs, you're now getting air conditioning, which was unheard of before in Barbados.
Very true.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
In our inbox today is a topical question for hurricane season about indoor and outdoor substations. We asked Wilfred Clark, distribution supervisor responsible for substations, to explain.
Incoming mail. Inbox.
When we talk about an indoor substation versus an outdoor substation, the electricity is generated primarily out of Spring Garden and the other generation site. And then it comes to the substation. But when it gets to the substation, we have to find some means to then take that electricity and send it over to the customers after we pass through what we consider to be the transformer. Now, electricity can come in at the substation via an outdoor structure. And an outdoor structure basically means that you have a big metal frame on the outside in the yard, you got all your wires running, and they're open and exposed, all the elements and so on. That's an outdoor structure. And you take that electricity from the outdoor structure, and then we feed it into a transformer, who then take that electricity and put it onto another outdoor structure and sends it out to the customer. The indoor structure is totally different. The electricity comes straight inside into a building, not on the outside, but it comes straight into the building. The building is closed up, it's secure, there's no exposed part for animals or even personnel to come into contact with. They're all in a closed environment. So that is basically the difference between an outdoor substation and an indoor substation.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, the BLPC Luminosity Employee Awards took place this year in a virtual ceremony. The awards remind us of the commitment of our employees to deliver safe, reliable electricity and how much customers depend on Light and Power to power every moment of every day. The 2020 top awardees are Health and Wellness, Tyrone Alexander. Outstanding Safety, our very own Jennifer Blackman from Corporate Communications. Customer Service, Simone Cumberbatch. Team Spirit, Claudia Tate, Samuel Johnson, MacDonald Herwood, Kerwin Vaughn, Michael Murphy, Akeem Atkins, and Shaquan Husbands. Innovation, Reginald Paris, David Haynes, Kerwin Vaughn, and Michael Murphy. And Leadership, Ramel Clark.
What's new from the Barbados Light and Power Company?
Before I go, a reminder that hurricane season runs till November. Please remember to update your communication plan for the family each year. Check that your tin foods are not out of date and always use a qualified electrician for any electrical work. Throughout the season, for real-time updates, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at BLPC Online or on Twitter at TweetBLPC. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Nicole Scanterbury, Communications Advisor at Light and Power. If you missed any of today's program, you can find it online at our website, blpc.com.bb. Till next time, bye for now.
This program was produced for the Barbados Light and Power Company by SFA Communications.